Hello, welcome to the Analyst Inside Cricket with me, Simon Hughes.
Me, Simon Mann.
And we're joined again by Deep Dasgupta, the former Indian player and current commentator. We've watched two pulsating cricket matches over the last 2 days. We've just come off watching that game in Mumbai, which I suppose, Simon, you take a slightly wry view of it. 99 runs scored in the game. England lost by 7 in the end. But you have a particular description for this game, don't you?
Well, it was the least close game I think I've ever seen. So 7 runs, it makes it look like a sort of nail biter. But I have to say, there was not one single moment, one single ball in that match that I thought England were going to win the game.
Well, not even after the first ball. No. That's a bit harsh. I mean, there were moments, weren't there? There were moments when, perhaps when Sam Curran and Jacob Bethell. I mean, what an innings by Jacob Bethell, by the way. I mean, extraordinary innings. Totally in a lost cause. And actually at one point, well, at several points in that run chase, around about sort of 15, 16 overs, England were ahead in terms of runs, 195 for 5 compared to India's 191 for 4, say, at 16 overs. So they were 4 runs ahead, but they had lost that crucial extra wicket. And I suppose, deep in a way, the key thing was with 5 overs to go, you still had 2 overs of Bumrah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it wasn't 2, was it? I think just 1 over, the 16th over. That's what was left as far as Bumrah is concerned. I thought till the 15th over, I think England needed some 75 of 30 something on those lines. And in this game, I thought 75 with 5 wickets in hand. And like you said, I mean, Bethell and Sam Curran batting the way they were, I thought they were in for it. I mean, they were very much in the game. I was a little when they took that call of not going after Jasprit Bumrah, I was a little surprised. I'm not saying go like hammer and tongs, but then they were happy to get 6 off his over. I thought, that's a little strange because he's gone for a few previous to that over. So he's given away a few runs before that. So yeah, I mean, then you're leaving up way too much for yourself to in the last few.
Well, if you look at the bowling figures, obviously most of the bowlers went for sort of 12, 13, 14 and over. Jofra Archer went for 15 and over. Bumrah, 8 overs, 1 for 30. Bumrah, 4 overs, 1 for 33. And, never did a sort of more anonymous looking bowling figures actually have such an impact. The thing about him is, when he had to bowl those perfect Yorkers, he did. And also what's amazing about him is that even when he bowls the slower ball Yorker, it lands in the right place. So he's bowling 88 to 90 mile an hour, perfect Yorkers right at the block hole. And then he's bowling a slower ball at 72 miles an hour, also in the block hole. I don't think, I mean, I said this on an Instagram post. I've played against Malcolm Marshall and Wasim Akram and your great Kapil Dev, Richard Hadley, all these great bowlers. I've never seen anyone with the degree of skill that Bumrah has and the way he handles pressure as well.
Yeah, I mean, and also to be fair, he works really hard on those Yorkers. I mean, so this was, let's say, straight after the Asia Cup, there was a South Africa series, and he didn't get his Yorkers right. He was bowling way too many full tosses and stuff like that. And since then, I've just seen him bowl those Yorkers, go in the nets and just bowl Yorkers, just practice Yorkers. So he's consciously worked very hard over the period of his career, but off late as well, post that India-South Africa bilateral series, he's been focusing specifically on that Yorker. And yeah, I mean, it has come good when it counted the most.
Just to pick up on something I said at the start, and Deep saying that England needs 75 or 5 and they were in the game. I think perhaps from your perspective, Deep, it felt, man, just as I was watching the game, I never felt, I thought England were behind, they were kind of level in terms of where India were, India's fluently at the back end. And I just felt it would absolutely perfect chase from where they were, and the Bumrah factor as well. I just couldn't see them scoring that weight of runs, albeit it was a bit of a turkey shoot. I mean, the pitch was flat, the boundaries were short, the outfield was fast. I mean, it was a thankless.
It was a thankless. Actually, there were 34 sixes in the game, which is a World Cup record, a T20 World Cup record. And to me, actually, it looked like playing on the nursery ground at Lord's, where, you've got 40-yard boundaries and, a slice goes over the slips, goes for 6 practically.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a postage stamp of a ground with a flat pitch, with lovely bounce. You hit through the line, it sails away.
It didn't feel
the
like
last
that
3
when I
balls of the
was
game
playing,
for 6.
Simon. When I was playing, it didn't seem like that.
Okay. Well, what, you mean at Mumbai or at the nursery?
Mumbai, I'm saying Mumbai.
Right. No, I mean, I
Wankhede,
suppose the power of these guys does make ground
so
seem
true.
a lot smaller. It's the same in the golf the golf course, isn't it? When you see those guys line up now with the big Bertha drivers and they drive through 350 yards. A par 5 is a chip onto the green with a 9-iron, the second shot. It's amazing the power they have. But it is a small boundary, and with the pitch bounce that's so consistent as well. It does make the job easier. I mean, let's go back to the start of the game. Another fantastic performance by Sanju Samson. Admittedly, Jofra Archer conceded 26 of his first 2 overs, and I felt Archer was going to be a key man for England because he seemed to be getting better and better in the tournament, and was starting to bowl those really sort of difficult deliveries, sort of 90 miles an hour, getting into the rib cage. Now, he bowled quite short to Samson, and I know the commentators were quite critical of that, and Samson took advantage of it. But from memory, in previous IPL encounters, Archer's caused Samson a problem with the short ball, which is probably why he went to it. But Samson was so far back on his stumps. There was a good graphic demonstrated on TV to show where he was standing, almost in front of the wicket, inside the crease, and he made those short balls easy to handle.
Yeah. But also, I mean, as a bowler, and there's a question for you now. If you see a batter with both his feet inside the crease, what shot is he getting ready for, according to you as a bowler? The short ball, isn't it?
Well, it is the short ball. I mean, I suppose you could say also someone like Hardik Pandya gets right and back on his stumps towards the end.
That's the back end of the innings, correct?
Because it's a full delivery, because he's playing for the full delivery. I get your point. Yeah, I mean, if you are right back on your stumps, the last ball you want to bowl, I guess, is a short ball. Unless it's 95 miles an hour, I suppose.
Yeah,
and not too short. And he just got his line and length horribly wrong, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it just gave India a fantastic flying start.
True. I mean, obviously there was this opportunity, the catch. I mean, I'm not going to harp upon that catch, but it was the turning point as far as I'm concerned. But that particular delivery that we're talking about, that's exactly where you wanted the bowlers to bowl to Sanju, who's got both his feet inside the crease, fuller, a little outside off stump. The other thing he's started doing, he's got a close face of the bat now. He doesn't have an open face like that. His bottom hand is kind of closed. So he's actually looking to kind of hit through the line a little bit with his bottom hand with a closed face. So I thought that particular delivery was a perfect delivery to bowl to someone like Sanju.
The one that caused the drop, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That particular delivery. Yeah, but take nothing away from Sanju Samson. I think was absolute. I mean, the calmness is, right through that innings, even the previous one was absolutely superb. I mean, how calm he was right through these 2 innings. We are talking about like 2 must-win games, 2 quarterfinal. One quarterfinal almost and 1 semi-final. Just to bat with such calmness and clarity was absolutely brilliant. And generally, what you see in T20 cricket, when a lot of the batters, they're like, it's either a big shot or nothing. But if you look at even, a couple of the innings that we've seen, rather 3 innings that we've seen in the last couple of days, it's been a very mature kind of innings. It's about 4s and 6s, but if you can't get it, look for a single. So I thought, Bethell and Sanju Samson and then Finn Allen yesterday, I think they were proper T20 quality innings.
Yeah, and just one point about the 2 innings today, those 2, nearly 100 for Samson and 100 for Bethell. They're touch players as well as being powerful 6 hitters. They are, as you say, with Samson, he played a single. He glanced and glided the ball behind square when it was full, as well as the incredible sort of pulls and pick-up shots and all that, and drives back over the bowler's head. He does play those sort of nice, stylish touch shots, deft placement shots as well. And same with Bethell. Bethell, a couple of times he glided a Yorker, wide Yorker outside off, down to the sort of third man boundary and things. So it's amazing their repertoire, their ability to be able to go from a late sort of glide shot to the full-blown bludgeon back over the bowler's head is amazing.
I thought Samson played really well, but if you get 2 innings, then your quid's in, aren't you? I mean, it was a terrible drop by Harry Brook. I mean, he is one of England's best fielders. He's caught some brilliant catches. It was just one of those moments. Why does it happen? Well, because gravity exists, I suppose. You get your hands in the wrong place, and down it goes. I mean, he was on 15 at the time. It would have been 24 for 2. So he went on to make 89 from 42 balls I've got written down here. It was his 7th ball. But Harry Brook will be going to bed tonight thinking about that. And it actually I thought it seemed to affect him as well, because you could see him every time Samson was lifting one over the ropes or hitting the ropes with a boundary. You could see like the agony on Brook's face. It was a really big moment in the game, as it turned out. That's not to say that India wouldn't have scored big, because it was, they've got some great aggressive batters. The pitch was flat, and England's bowling is not their strong suit. So, you'd have backed India to score big. Whether they would have got 250, which was which is a match-winning score, we'll never know. But it's a huge moment in the game, and it was a catch that you'd expect Harry Brook to take that catch 50 times out of 50, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah. So anyway, it cost England, as you say. The 67 for 1 in the power play was the India score, so 67 for 1 after 6 overs, 91 for 1 after 8 overs, and then they got to 190 for 4 at 16 overs, and then they got 63 off the last 4 overs. Is there anything deep that England could have done with the ball better, do you think?
I guess the first 6 overs, I mean, that just set the tone. I thought Jofra, the length that he bowled, Will Jacks, I mean, listen, that was a bit of a gamble. It's not a venue for the spinners any which way, but I thought he bowled well to pick up a couple of wickets, and especially, whose was it? I had to reach out for it. Anyway, so I thought in general he bowled really well.
He got Samson out, didn't he, in the end?
Yeah, Sanju Samson out. Yeah, I had to reach out for it. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And also that Abhishek Sharma wicket was nice and flighted and slow delivery. I mean, you've got to be brave to bowl that at Wankhede.
I mean, I messaged you, Yoz, didn't I? After about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I said game over. And Deep alluded to it there, didn't he? You said that he felt the power play sort of set the tone. And that's what it felt like to me, really, that once India got away in that power play, 67 for 1 after 6 overs, you could see a really big score in the offing. But I think I said to you, England would be lucky to get out under 220. And as it was, as a bit of VAT on that, wasn't it? 250 plus, really significant score. And I mean, fair play to England, because normally it's that sort of score takes away the belief of the opposition, doesn't it? What happens is they come out, you feel you've got to play lots of shots. You end up being 30 for 4 or something, or 50 for 5 when you're playing lots of big shots, when you're taking on that sort of target. And I thought England, when they batted, they were always kind of like a wicket or two too many down. I thought the good thing about India's innings is that they scored freely, but they had those wickets in hand as well, so they were able to really go hard towards the end. In the final analysis, 7 runs, it does make it look close, but I mean, those people who didn't watch the game, and I know not everyone has the chance to watch it, Jofra Archer did hit the last 3 balls of the innings for 6 when the game was over. So it put a strange sort of gloss on the game in a way. You look at it, 7 runs, that must have been a really close match. But it wasn't ultimately, I don't think. Although there were probably moments when England still had that belief. But it was always it always felt as though they were just a little bit too far behind, and they'd lost perhaps a wicket or two too many.
So going back to England's innings, I mean, with the ball, we said, Simon, at the start of the tournament, we worried about England's bowling, that it wouldn't necessarily have enough ability to keep a raging batting order in check, and that's certainly what it proved today. So at the halfway point, 254 to win is obviously the highest score that had ever been made in a T20 World Cup match to win a successful chase. So we kind of more or less gave them, well, sort of 1 out of 10, I guess, 10% chance of doing it. Phil Salt departed early, a little bit of swing from Hardik Pandya with the new ball. They kept Bumrah back. It was interesting watching Josh Buttler bat deep, wasn't it? We've seen him struggle in the tournament. We've all picked him in our T20 fantasy team, and I will come to that in the second half of this show. But he just hasn't been able to get going, and the positions he got into today were kind of forlorn hope of trying to hit the ball, and occasionally he did hit one for six, but it didn't look convincing. And a couple of times he tried to hit his sort of familiar shot over mid-off and just lost his shape, and the black bat twisted in his hand and the ball sort of trickled out. It was quite sad and almost slightly painful to watch, actually, in a way.
It has been painful, this whole World Cup, watching Josh Buttler, because, well, for me, I think he's one of the greatest white ball cricketers, maybe the greatest England has produced in terms of special T20 cricket. And it is painful to watch him struggle this way. And I think, obviously, the comms were talking about losing his shape and all, which is fair enough. And that is because he's not using his feet at all. He's just playing everything from the crease. To keep your shape going, you need a wider base. You need some kind of a footwork. I'm not saying like orthodox test match kind of footwork, but at least some kind of a footwork. But if you notice him right through this World Cup, that he's been playing from the crease with a narrow stance, and so it is quite obvious that he's not getting any power through his shot. He's losing his shape. And it is, like I said, it is painful to watch someone like Josh Buttler. He's been such a great player over the years. It is quite painful.
So he got to 20 odd again, which he has done a couple of times in the tournament before. Eventually, a slightly forlorn swish across the line to Chakravarti and gave him his wicket, got a clean bowled, which brought in Jacob Bethell. I just want to pick on one other dismissal before we get into the sort of remainder of the innings. I said on a preview of the semi-finals, Bumrah will come on to bowl when Harry Brook is in, England's best player. Watch out for that slower ball, Harry. What did he bowl first ball? The slower ball?
You should
Harry
have
Brook goes for the drive, one-handed, far too early, skies in the air. Brilliant catch by Jacob Bethell running back. But it was, well, I'm sorry, but that was a dismissal I thought was written, 2 days before the game. And it was absolutely beautifully bowled and some fantastic out cricket by India.
Yeah, listen, Bumrah obviously is different, but yeah, when you're chasing down 250, you want to kind of force, and I guess Harry also wanted to kind of prove a point against Bumrah. I guess he's that. I don't know him personally. I guess he's that kind of a character, you want to take on the best bowler in the opposition and stuff like that. And also chasing down 250 plus. That's a huge total. But yeah, Bumrah's brilliant. And this is what I really, really love about Bumrah. And I think I've mentioned here before as well. People keep talking about his unique action and everything else, but his cricketing IQ is superb. He just has this knack of knowing what to bowl, when to bowl, and to whom. He's absolutely brilliant that way.
It was a fabulous catch as well, wasn't it? By Bethell. My money was on the ball because those who haven't seen it, it was kind of running back over his head, and he slightly misjudged it, and in the end, kind of had to dive towards the boundary, half dive towards the boundary to take it. It was a brilliant catch. He was involved in another one later. It was kind of like one of those relay catches.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was good, but I thought that was regulation compared to this one. This was a wonderful piece of athleticism. Harry Brook on his way, one-handed, helping it out into the offside. And I think that's my feeling, is that England were just like losing one wicket too many all the time. Kind of when that partnership gave them some hope. It's a lot to do when you're chasing 250 plus in a World semi-final.
Yeah.
Well, they did silence the crowd a little bit, didn't they? And Harry Brook tossed that. He said, didn't he? Like the crowd. Well, he did for a little bit because it was quite hushed. Apart from the man on the PA, of course, who was very hard to silence.
Well, that's right. Yeah, it was actually. And Simon messaged me saying, the crowd can cheer for a few sixes in my English batters.
They just don't, do they? They have their lips are sort of completely their lips are completely shut when England hit a boundary. What what's it like in when you play in the Wankhede Stadium and you've got that
Oh,
roaring support? I mean, it's almost
yeah,
deafening, isn't it? Well, I mean,
it
obviously from
is.
your point of view, it's probably
Yeah.
quite uplifting, but is it also a pressure?
It can be a pressure, obviously, but you get used to it because these guys they play IPL and everything there. So more you play, you get used to it. And Wankhede, and you guys have been to Wankhede, it's like a cauldron, right? It goes vertically up. So, guys on the third tier are right above you. So you can actually, as a spectator, you feel very close to the player as well. You can actually listen to almost everyone as a player if you're standing in the boundary. So, I mean, yeah, that makes it even more loud, uh, Ankara. So it is, and mind you, it is not a huge ground compared to the Indian venues. Its capacity is what, 31,000. So it's not a big ground, so to say, but my word, you've got to be there to experience what Wanker is.
Yeah. And I mean, England, to their credit, shut that out. And
Yeah.
Bethell played a wonderful innings. I mean, he took Chakravarti apart and hit him all over the place, back over his
Mm,
head. He pulled him. I noticed they used that tactic, England, that South Africa had against Chakravarti, and they got back and hit him off the back foot, sort of almost flat batted him back down the ground a couple of times
mm,
and pulled him off his length. And then he forced him to go wide, and then Bethell reverse swept him a couple of times, reverse swept him for six,
mm.
and a fantastic repertoire of shots he
Yeah.
displayed, and actually a great resolve, given that there were wickets falling the other end. I mean, Banton hit a few good shots, and obviously Sam Curran did, Will Jacks did, but Banton was Bethell was the one that kept it rotating all the time, kept them with a tiny just glimmer of hope.
Yeah. And while I said I thought till the 15th over, England were in that run chase, very much so. I thought it was maybe 60-40 in India's favor. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than what you guys, I mean, what we see. But then for me, the reason being how easy Jacob Bethel make it look. He did not take chances. It wasn't like he was trying to hit six or something. It was just an effortless and a superb innings. Just proper orthodox cricketing shots. Yes, every now and then he would hit a reverse lap or something. But it just seemed like so much in control, that run chase, when him and especially Will Jacks were batting, that partnership. And both of them, and obviously Will Jacks is in super form himself. Right through this World Cup. And both of them, when they were batting, I was like, God, this is going down to the wire, because they were getting two boundaries every over without making an effort, just playing normal cricket.
So,
So
question,
so there were 45. England needed 45 off 18 balls, and Bumrah bowled the 18th over, and they only got 6
Yeah,
runs off it. So then it needed 39 off the last 2 overs, which
last
obviously
week.
was out of bounds.
Mm.
Do you worry? So India got home in the end. I mean, fairly more comfortably than the scoreline
Mm.
suggests. Do you worry that the bowlers, apart from Bumrah, look a bit exposed coming into the final?
A little bit, but my concern would be more to do with Varun. Because you would expect, I mean, the whole reason behind the dominance, so to say, of India in last couple of years in this format has been on the back of, partly on the back of Varun Chakravarti picking up wickets in that middle phase and being very, very economical. So you had Bumrah to bowl couple of overs at the top and couple at the end, something like that, and then Varun in the middle. Because, and this is what I honestly believe, that start and the end would roughly be the same, right? Every team would roughly get same number of runs. It's how you play the middle phases in terms of bowling, how many wickets that you pick, or at batting, how many boundaries you hit in that 7 to 15 over period. And that's where I think Varun has been superb last couple of years, picking up wickets, being economical. My concern more than anyone else is with Varun at his 4 overs, because he's been going for plenty in 4 games now. I think he's been going at 10 and over in the last 4 games.
he went 64 today, 64 from his
64, yeah.
most
Yeah.
expensive bowler. Actually, the two really vaunted bowlers, Archer and Chakravarti, and obviously Bumrah is the top class bowler among that trio. They were the most expensive in the game. I think Jofra Archer had his most expensive figures in T20 internationals. He went
Mm.
for a 60 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, is there any possibility that India might leave him out of the final, or do you think it's too late for that?
I think it would be too late, and get in someone like, who would you get in? You get Kuldeep, who hasn't played a game so far, or he's played one, I believe, or whatever. It's been too long, this tournament. I doubt they'll make that change,
I mean,
but
they
they
could
got to
play
figure
Washington
out.
Sundar, maybe, I suppose, instead of him.
Nah,
No.
I doubt they'll do that. But I think they're going to go with Varun, and also the fact that Varun had a really good bilateral series that might give him some confidence against New Zealand. What was last month, actually?
Yeah.
So he's had a good series against New Zealand there. So maybe some kind of confidence he can derive from that series. But he's got to figure out. I mean, what you rightly mentioned. Now most of the batters are actually playing him off the back foot, and that is something that he needs to now find a way out of that.
He looks as if he's panicking a bit, actually. He looks, you can see it in his face. He's a bit mystified about what to do. Final thought about England, Simon. I mean, a brave run chase today. The bowling was pretty ordinary, wasn't it, in the main? But it was something we expected. Would you sort of, in the end, sum up their performance as over the tournament as getting better, but not quite good enough?
Yeah, not quite good enough. I mean, I think we all thought. I mean, I think we said it, didn't we, in our previews? I think we said England semi-finalists, but no further. They'll run into a really sort of crack unit in the semi-final, either probably South Africa or India, and they will lose. And they lost by 7 runs. It was a bigger defeat than 7 runs in a way, because there was no way they were going to win the game right towards the end. And did 30 off the last over. I don't think their bowling is good enough. I don't think it has enough mystery, enough sort of subtlety, variety, overall quality, and the batting today. Well, the batting has got a lot of power and a lot of ability and some quality in it. I thought India looked at England's bowling, they looked at the pitch, they looked at the dimensions, and they looked at the outfield, and they said, "Nah, no trouble at all. We'll thrash this lot," and they did. And England probably got a bit closer ultimately than I think probably most people would have thought. Even though they have got that quality in their batting. I mean, Bethell is a special talent, isn't he? We've seen this winter, we have seen him play 2 stunning innings. That century in Sydney, brilliant. And today, I mean, this is the difference between Butler and Bethell today. The old and the new was phenomenal. I know it's kind of it's a very easy comparison to make, but you got one guy who looked young and fluent and just right at the top of his game, and another who's just searching the whole time. So I think basically with England, they achieved what we thought they were going to, and kind of like the game panned out almost as we expected to as well, with India thrashing England's bowlers and England's batting kind of standing up, but ultimately not quite good enough.
And as for Mumbai Wankhede Stadium, no room to expand it, obviously, because you're right next to the river. You're right next to the sea. So my argument is that in Wankhede particularly, I think they should put boards up at about sort of 20 meters high, and you can get caught off them. If you hit a 6 and it bounces off the board and you catch it on the rebound, that's out. Yeah. Okay, that's the only way to keep the bowlers interested.
You're talking about boards. In Chinnaswamy, in Bengaluru, you have nets, right? Fish nets, so that to protect the spectators. So yeah.
Catch them off the fish nets then. Put the fish nets up all around the Wankhede Stadium, and you're out if you get caught off it, like they do in indoor cricket. Anyway, we'll pause on that sort of facetious note, and we'll come back after the break and talk about that fantastic run chase that New Zealand pulled off against South Africa. So I'm so pleased to say, looking back at that semi-final at Calcutta yesterday, that the main thing that I'm excited about was that I had Finn Allen in my fantasy team. We all picked fantasy teams at the start of the tournament that we thought would deliver over the tournament as a whole. And I've been keeping a tally of how we're all doing as our individual teams. Deep, you were soaring ahead with the points you had for the players you chose. Simon was lagging a little bit behind, and so was I. But I picked up with Finn Allen's astonishing assault of South Africa yesterday, 100 off 33 balls. I mean, it was quite incredible. I mean, obviously, South Africa they stumbled to 169 in the end. They lost sort of early wickets. They lost 2 wickets to the off spin of McConkey, didn't they? 2 left-handers got out very early on, Quinton de Kock and then Ryan Rickleton both getting out into consecutive balls. And that sort of destabilised South Africa. Aidan Markham didn't really get going either. And it was really only Marco Jansen and a bit of Tristan Stubbs that actually got South Africa to a decent score. But you thought they might be able to defend it. But, I mean, New Zealand just sailed away with it. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that innings from Finn Allen. In fact, you know what? Preview-wise, when you mentioned Finn Allen, I said, yeah, that's a good choice because he's been in super
But you didn't
form.
pick him, though. You didn't pick him.
I didn't, though, because I had already made my choices.
Yeah,
so,
true.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Fair enough. But, yeah, I mean, BBL highest scorer. He played 1 game in that bilateral series against India, and he got a 74 of 30-odd deliveries. And you could just see that he's in super form. And this, and again, I mean, it just comes so naturally hitting 4s and 6s to Finn Allen. And what I like is, again, his go-to areas are down the ground predominantly. So those, for me, if you're trying to hit big shots, if you're hitting down the ground, chances are that the percentages are a lot better, are in your favor. The odds are in your favor to get them right. And that's what he does. His scoring areas are down the ground. He does play that sweep shot, which almost every Kiwi batters do, plays the reverse as well. But the best part is, again, the thing that we were talking about, effortless. But then, if they don't get a 4 or a 6, it's not a dot ball. So there were only 33 out of 33, just 4 dot balls. So obviously, most of them were 4s and 6s, but then barely any dot ball. So this is what I find fascinating, and something that you mentioned earlier on is you're trying to hit a 6, and then in the last moment, just having that awareness of playing it softly for a single.
I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? Both of us have faced, some good fast bowlers over the years and good spinners. And I mean, you were playing more recently than me, and you're obviously a proper player, whereas I wasn't really much of a batsman. But nevertheless, I can't quite get my head around the idea that I'm actually going to be able to hit this for 6 unless it's not where I want it to, and then I'm just going to block it for a single. For me, batting was about, I'm just going to try and keep this out of my stumps as much as possible. And maybe there might be the odd chance to sort of push one through the offside for a couple of runs if someone actually happens to overpitch slightly wide. But that's the limit of my aspirations. Whereas these guys, they're hitting, their sort of thought process is, if I can't hit it for 6, I'll hit it for 4. If I can't hit it for 4, I'll hit it for 1.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the basic or fundamental shift in the mindset. Ours was dot or defense, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. But it's the other way around. It's 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the last thing on your mind is to play a dot ball. So I think fundamentally the mindset of the batters have changed. But again, to adjust yourself, your bat swing and your body shape from trying to hit a 6 to kind of, hit a normal cover drive for a single to long off or long on. I mean, and they look so comfortable doing it. It's not that they're looking uncomfortable as if, they're managing to do that. It's not managing. They actually are doing it like properly and effortlessly. And this is what I find amazing. And Phil Allen, I mean, 33 balls, 100. And I mean, they never looked in the game, to be fair, South Africa. In the second innings, I mean, him and Tim Seifert, they had some 80-odd runs in the first 6 or something like that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think, I mean, the game was over in the first 6 itself.
Do we call South Africa the C word, Simon, or was it more a question of New Zealand just jumping on their throats really today or yesterday?
And their coach actually addressed this, didn't he, in the press conference afterwards? He said it wasn't a choke; it was a slaughtering. Nothing like that at all. We were just absolutely hammered. Just one thing, Yoz. How many 6s did you hit in your top level career then?
God, you are asking me a ridiculous question.
You're on.
Well, I did actually hit Ian Botham for 6 once.
There you go.
He bowled me a half volley on leg stump, and I picked it up over square leg, just like Sanju Samson does. That little flick shot, and it probably just carried over the rope at Taunton, which is the smallest ground in the world, about a 42-yard boundary.
It doesn't
Other than
matter.
that, I probably
It
hit
doesn't
about 3
matter.
others. I did actually hit Alan Donald for 6 once, and I claim it was a hook, but actually I was protecting my face, and it flew off my glove over the keeper's head for 6.
We don't need to sort of talk about Deep's batting credentials, because I was there when he made his Test 100 against England in Chandigarh.
Well, how many sixes did you hit, Deep, in your
Not
Test
too
career?
many. I can tell you, not too many. I don't think any at all. Maybe
Okay.
one, I guess, or maybe 1 or 2.
We'll get a listener or a viewer to tell us that at some point. But anyway, I mean, how does South Africa look back on it? I mean, was it just one of those days, Simon, do you think?
Well, I think they lost an important toss. I mean,
Yeah,
I think the pitch was, when it started, the pitch was just, I mean, Aidan Markham was talking about this afterwards. He probably would, as a losing touch in that situation. So the pitch was just a little bit stoppy. And then there was a sort of film of dew, and the ball came on nicely. And if you let those two, Prideford and Allen, if you let them loose in your house for too long, they will absolutely wreck the joint. And that's what they did, didn't it? I mean, you know, the game was over in sort of 35, 40 minutes. I mean, you let them go. They're deadly. You've got to get them early to have a chance. Otherwise, the game's disappearing over the hills.
So, of course, we didn't have New Zealand, any of us, in our likely semi-finalists, never mind finalists. And again, they've done it again. It's the 6th final that they've made, global final, since 2015. So in 11 years, they made 6 finals, lost 4 of them, won the World Test Championship final, of course, against India in 2021. But apart from that, they've lost their finals. I mean, I actually wrote a piece today on the Cricverse, so you can get to that if you go to Substack. I'll put the link on the podcast notes. But I wrote this piece about why is it that we always underestimate New Zealand? And I asked ChatGPT for some answers, and it gave me 1 or 2, which are quite interesting. Well, one of the answers was they just handle pressure maybe better than other people. And I don't know, but I wonder if the reason for that is they just have this beautiful lifestyle back in New Zealand. I mean, I went there for a week in a bit in the Ashes. Simon, you've been there many times. You were there quite recently. I mean, it is the most beautiful country. Maybe you just think, well, whatever happens on the road, I've got a beautiful life to go back to. You know, nothing sort of matters. And you look at someone like Mitch Santner, the captain, who's inherited the sort of nonchalance and phlegmatic nature of Kane Williamson, his predecessor. You know, if 3 sixes get hit off Marco, off his bowler, he just sort of shrugs and gives the ball to somebody else, and all is well again. I mean, it's amazing how phlegmatic and unflappable they are as a race, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and they've been so successful of late, and it's the same finals we had last year in the Champions Trophy. That match in the US is in Ahmedabad. It'll be Bedlam in Ahmedabad. Huge crowd there. India will be obviously clear favourites, and they've won 2 matches. You know, they've done well under pressure to win 2 matches against West Indies and England. They'll be favourites to the final, but you know, you just wonder whether it might just be New Zealand's turn this time. I mean, I wouldn't bet against India. I mean, we said at the start we thought India, and they're in the final, and it's going to be a mighty, mighty challenge, even those phlegmatic New Zealanders.
Yeah. The other thing which they do really well is they do their fundamentals so well. I mean, they quite literally look at the processes and do that so well. The basic stuff, running between the wicket, fielding, catching.
Fielding, they're very good at fielding, aren't they?
I mean, even yesterday, I mean, in this semi-final, they were so good. I mean, that Darryl Mitchell catch was brilliant, and that could have been a turning point in the game as well. So I think they do those 1%ers or the fundamentals or the basics, whatever you want to call it. They do it better than anyone else in world cricket. I mean, very rarely you'll see an upset against New Zealand. You hear upset against England, India, South Africa, whatever, Australia, but very rarely you'd see an upset against New Zealand, because for them, it's about the process. It's doing the basic things right over and over again. Even though it's monotonous, you do it the same thing over and over again. That's what, as coaches, we keep talking about. But they actually do that better than anyone else in world cricket.
I wonder if it's also, partly to do with there's a stark contrast in a way between Indian cricketers and New Zealand cricketers. Indian cricketers, are kind of gods in India, and there's a billion people following them. In New Zealand, tiny population, not that many people interested in cricket. They've got little sort of bucolic grounds, which are like almost sort of country grounds. There's no high-profile players there, really. I mean, they're fantastic cricketers, but they're not public figures in the same way as the Indian cricketers are. Maybe there's less sort of public pressure on New Zealand cricketers, and they can be freer in their approach to the game. Anyway, can they beat India on Sunday in Ahmedabad?
Yeah, they can. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, they can. There's no two ways about it. But Ahmedabad, high scoring pitch, it does suit India a little more. That surface, that venue. Had this been, or I don't know if this pitch is going to be on the slower side, let's say we're looking at a 160, 170 pitch, then they get, I mean, the difference gets closer. Because if you look at that New Zealand side, they've got a good bowling attack. Ferguson, Matt Henry have been good. Santner, obviously. But their batting, leave aside Tim Seifert, Finn Allen, there are a lot of these guys who don't have a very high strike rate. Glenn Phillips does, but only recently he started batting at number 4. He's still getting used to batting at number 4. So when it comes to a high scoring game, I don't know whether it suits New Zealand or not. I personally, I would say it suits India more than New Zealand if it's a high scoring game.
And obviously there'll be 130,000 people cheering for India as well.
Yeah. That's always going to be there. Always going to be there. But again, New Zealand go in as the underdogs, which they usually do with so many finals that you said. And they've got nothing to lose here. So yeah, I mean, I guess that frees them up more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, that might be one of the aspects you talk about, why they do so well. They, in a way, I mean, they probably have pressure on themselves. They put pressure on themselves, but they're expected, are they? They're rarely expected to win. They weren't expected to win in 2019. They weren't really expected in 2050. Of course, they didn't in 2000. They very nearly did in 2019. Last time out in the Champions Trophy, they pushed India, but it was one of those games you just kind of had the measure of them. It wasn't that surprising. Look, they could, especially if those house wreckers get going, Seifert and Allen at the top of the order. But I would be surprised if India don't win. But it's T20. We punted South Africa a lot, didn't we? And they were absolutely destroyed yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, I was on a New Zealand radio station this morning, Ian Smith's show. Of course, Ian Smith not there to commentate on either the semi-final or the final with his own team playing because it's his son's wedding. So he's doing a family duty and missing another big moment in his country's cricketing career. I'm definitely going to get him on though on Sunday. Whatever happens, we'll get him on to talk about the game one way or the other. But anyway, I said to these guys on his show when they said who's going to win on Sunday, I said, well, it's New Zealand's time, so I'm punting for New Zealand this time. Not for any particular reason. I love Indian cricket and fantastic, but I just want New Zealand to sort of pull one out of the fire this time and
you've already got your black T-shirt on.
I got my black T-shirt on. I'll wear some kind of I've got a New Zealand T-shirt. I'll wear it on Sunday actually, and just not because for any particular reason, but I just love Kiwis. I think they're fabulous. I love Indians too. I love everybody. Simon, let's finish with you, Simon.
Yeah. But tell me something for both of you. I mean, is it fair to say the second favorite team of almost everyone would be New Zealand?
Yeah, well, certainly not Australia.
Not Australia. No. I mean, obviously, for English, Australia.
I like Sri Lanka personally. I mean, I went there as a kid and played a lot of cricket there when I was really young. And I love their spirit and their sort of ingenuity as cricketers, and India as well. I mean, India is a special place; it's a special country, and it's saved the game in many ways. So I love Asian countries' styles of play. Actually,
yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
New Zealand doing well, but I think it's about players you like. So if you have a country with a player you like, you'd like to see them do well. I mean, like Viv when he was playing West Indies, for example. I mean, Brian Lara, it was just such a beguiling player to watch. You like to see them do well.
I noticed Dhoni was at the game today. I mean, you can't go far from adoring the way he plays the game. It's just absolutely remarkable. Listen, anyway, we're getting off the subject. It's the final on Sunday. It's India against New Zealand. Who would have predicted that? Well, we certainly didn't. But we're definitely going to be back after the game to review it and the tournament as a whole, right?
Absolutely. Are we going to get Ian Smith out of bed, though? What time is it going to be in New Zealand?
Well, we'll get him out of bed. He'll be watching, won't he? Surely.
Yeah, I'm sure he would be watching. Come on. Get him on.
Yeah. Well, we're really looking forward to it. Let's hope it's a close game. Neither semi-final was that close, although today's game had a sort of degree of closeness about it.
Well, today's game, actually, all the bowlers should be going and having physio on their necks today because they're staring upwards into the sky, seeing their balls sailing into the orbit and into the stands. Yeah. A tough day for bowlers. Perhaps on Sunday it'll be a slightly better day for the bowlers at Ahmedabad. Anyway, we'll be back then to see what happens, what entails in the final of the T20 World Cup. Thanks for listening.
Great. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Goodbye for now.